Good afternoon, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Today we'll talk about one last part in trigonometry 1, how to convert radian to degrees and vice versa, and how to use the calculator properly with radian and degrees. That's all. Small part. All right. Now we know that the full circle is 360 degrees. Good. This is actually equivalent to 2 pi radians. So if we divide both sides by 2, 180 degrees is always equivalent to pi radian. This is the key that you have to keep in mind. So every time you go half circle, either you go 180 degrees or with an equivalent of something we call it pi. Pi is 3.142, blah, 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 blah. So let's make sure that we keep this in mind. All right? So let's have an example. I'll be looking at the solved examples in your notes, in your lecture notes. Which lecture notes? It's called Trig 1. We're still in that chapter. All right? That's called chapter 5. So I want you to look at the solved example in that chapter. This is called Solve Example 5. This one is in page 6 in your lecture notes. So let's take one of these questions. What am I looking for? I want to convert 225 degrees. I want to convert 225 degrees to radians. Very simple, very straightforward. First step you need to do, just set up this one. So if 180 gives me 1 pi or pi radians, how much 225 would give me in radians? The idea here is to cross multiply. So pi times 225 and divided by 180 degrees. Now your turn to go to calculator. All right? So when you go to your calculator, simply shift by, times it by 225, and that's divided by 180. Okay, the answer is roughly 3.91 radian. This is the first part of the question. The second part of the question, I'm going to give you the opposite. What is it? I'm going to say convert an angle minus or negative 4.45 radian. Now some people say, do we have angles negative? Yes, we do. We'll talk about that in chapter 7. All right? I want you to convert that into degrees. So we're going to use the same method, but this time I'm given radians, so I should put it under the radian. And then if 180 is pi degrees, how much is a negative 4.45 radians angle is worth in degrees? All right? Then what do? Like before, we cross multiply. All right? So theta equals 180 times minus 4.45. And that's to be divided by pi. So let's go and use our calculators. Simple, straightforward. Okay? 180 times minus 4, negative 4.5. 4.45 times 180. And that's to be divided by pi. All right? So the answer is about 254.9 degrees. Okay? So simply, it's very straightforward. Just be aware of that, how to convert from degrees to radian backward and forward. Now, you can go to your notes, all right? And there's a question, or actually there's an example 5, which is in page 9. I am sure you can do that alone. It follows the same method, no problem. Please do it on your own. Now, the second thing of this video. Many times in engineering, you are required to do certain angles with using calculator properly. So what I'm doing here, I'm looking at example 6. Okay, I'll be looking at example 6. This example 6 is on page 10. I have 5 or 6 things to ask. What is the question? By using your calculator only, find the values of the following. So, you're going to go, by using your own calculator, okay, evaluate the following. Find the value of. Let me start with one of them. Number 1. The secant of 5 pi over 8. The calculator doesn't have secant or cosecant or cotangent, but we learned in the first lecture that secant is what? Is the reciprocal of the cosine. All right? So, and you don't have to convert this radians to degrees. I can use my calculator with radians. How? This is a trick. You're going to press shift. You're going to go down to mode. Top to the right. And then you're going to press 4. So remember this. You press shift, mode 4. Now your calculator is in radian mode. Now easy to go. So come here. 1 divided by, all right? 1 divided by the cosine. You gotta open the bracket. Put 5 times pi over 8. 5 times pi, all right, divided by 8. And then equal. Your answer is roughly 1.001. This is a value. This is not an angle. The value of the secant is that much. Some people could do it differently. How? Take this one first. Take the cosine of the angle, which is 5 pi, divided by 8. You got 0.9999. 1 divided by the answer, the same thing. Let's take the second example. All right? Number 2. I'm trying to solve this question because they cover a very nice idea. Here what we got. You need to find the tangent of 2.63. Same thing, same straightforward. Is this a radian? Yes. So I press tangent and put 2.63. Your answer is 0.046. This answer, it's been rounded to 3 decimal places. All right? The question has asked us to round it to 3 decimal places. Okay? This is simple stuff. But suppose I give you a question like that. Tangent 278 degrees. If you cannot keep the calculator radian mode, you have to change it back to degrees. Shift, mode, and then press 3. Now use your calculator and relax. Tangent of 278 close the bracket, and the answer is negative 7.115. Okay, this answer in degrees should give you a ratio, should give you a decimal, should give you a fraction, a whole number, but not a degree. Don't put degree here. All right, let's continue with these questions. Question number 3, the third part, is asking us to find the value of, if possible, number 3, the cosecant of negative 120 degrees. We all know from the reciprocal functions that cosecant is the reciprocal or the opposite of what? Sine. So 1 over sine is the reciprocal of cosecant, and the angle is what? So go to your calculator. Hold your calculator. Is it in radian or degree? I forgot. So shift mode 3. I'm happy now. I can do this one first, then 1 divided, or you can use any way you want. So 1 divided by sine, open the bracket. It's already open for you, but it's a negative 120. Don't say minus, that's the sign. So say negative. Close the bracket, and the answer is negative 2 square root 3 over 3. You could put it in decimal form if you wish, but not necessary since you have the answer exact. So if you want to round it, 1.155. That's the value of this cosecant of that angle. You've got to practice how to use a calculator. You never know when you can use it or when you don't need it. How about this time? We're going to do something a bit ugly. Number D. I want to find the angle cosine of 200 degrees. Wow. That is in degrees. But I am putting with it 40 minutes and 50 seconds. They use this a lot in accuracy. They use this in surveying. When you are using very, very exact measurements. What do I do with that? Go to your calculator. Your calculator is ready. It's already in degrees. I remember that. Cosine. Press cosine. The bracket will open. All right. Now, you could do it differently, but 200. When you press 200, look what happened. You're going to go to your calculator, put cosine. Automatically will open the bracket. You will have to put 200. There's a button you have to press. في كبسة اللي هي هذه. Press it once. This will come. Now you want to put 40 minutes of a degree. Like in real life. Hours, minutes, second. The same equivalent. Because an hour is a 60 minutes. A minute, 60 seconds. So this number cannot go beyond 60. All right? You cannot have here 72. Anyway, I'm going to press 40. 40. When you press the 40, press this one again. The calculator is already programmed to put it. It will show you on the screen another circle. When you write it that way, the calculator shows you that way. Some calculators show that way. Now I have another 50 seconds. You press 50 command and then press this one again. So the first time when you press it, it gave you the degrees. When you press it for a second time, actually the calculator think of this. When you press the third time, the calculator will go that one, and then let me see what happens. Maybe, it gives me this again. Old calculators, new calculator, it doesn't make a difference. Close the bracket. When you close the bracket, put equal. The answer is negative 0.93556. Let's say 3 decimal places. All right. So sometimes, especially if you are studying engineering and civil, you need these things. You need a lot. All right. So without calculator, sometimes you cannot hang on. All right. How about if we look at number E, the one after that? What's the cosine of negative 0.725? Now, is this an angle or that's a value? Remember, I've been giving you all the time angles, and then here you're getting answers. You get answers. These answers or these values are called ratios, could be called decimal form, could be called fraction, could be written in fraction form, or could be written simply whole number, like answer 2, 3, whatever. But I'm not going to talk about more, why is not more than 1. Could it be more than 1? I'm not going to talk about it now. That's in chapter 7. Could it be less than minus 1? I'm not going to talk about it now. Now let's practice a little bit with the calculator. I'm having here with an inverse. It means I want an answer in degrees or radian, because that's inverse. This one is looking for an angle. Remember chapter 1 and 2? Okay, so use a calculator. If I want in degree, make sure your calculator is designed in degree. Shift cosine. You have to press this. Shift plus cosine. And then the calculator will open the bracket. You put this one. Close the bracket. Negative 0.725. Close the bracket. Wow. My answer is 136.5 degrees. That's if I want the answer in what? If I want in degree. But if I want the answer in radians, easy. Shift mode 4. Now the calculator is ready. Put it this one again. Shift cosine, negative 0.725. I've got another answer, 2.382 radian. These are equivalent. All right? So it depends how you want it. It depends who want to give it to you. I know we need to use degrees a lot, but when we go to chapter, we are now in chapter 5, we will go to chapter 7, then you will appreciate the idea of radians. All right? That's very simple introduction. I think we have one last question in that group. I'm going to clean that one. The last part is called F. I want to find the value of this. If you notice, the question was saying, if possible. Guess what? In here, the answer never go beyond 1 or minus 1. That one goes beyond. So, I want the answer in degrees or radian. Oh, let me try. I don't care what's on the calculator. Shift cosine. Open bracket is already open. And guess what? I'm not going to get an answer. I have no answer for one simple reason. This value, when you find sine an angle or cosine of any angle, the answer must not go beyond 1. Could be equals to 1, yes. And the answer or the value of that cannot go below negative 1. That's the secret. Why I get that one. So if you put 2.6, 2.8, 1.1, 1.2, but if you put 1 or below, you will always get an answer in radian and in degree. All right? You can't answer these questions unless you have a calculator. Now, one last question from my own before we stop. How would you find the value of sine 0 degrees? Well, let me write that way. 48 minutes and 59.2 seconds. Very small angle. Less than 1 degree. I need to use a calculator. But, so this answer is in radian or degree, it's in degrees. But I don't have a degree. How am I going to use the calculator? Easy. Make sure your calculator, shift mode 3. Let's put sine. So sine of the angle. I don't have a degree here. Okay. I put 0. See? I put 0 and I press this. I have to press it. I have to start with a degree. Then I'm going to put 48. Press it again. Now your answer being entered as what? As minutes. And then we have 59.2. Press this one again. So 59.2, press it again. Now close the bracket. Close the bracket. And the answer is supposed to be, see, it's a valid answer. I put degree, give me value. If I take the sign of this, I'll get that. You know how? Shift, sign, the answer I put last. My God, I see an answer which is exactly like that one. My calculator does this. 0 degrees, 48 minutes, and 59.2 seconds. All right? I could waive this. But whenever I give it in that form, just make sure that you know how to enter your numbers properly. Thank you very much. We just finished chapter 5. Inshallah, your next recording will be in chapter 6.